Okay, good morning, everybody. I want to thank Pastor Shola and my dear daughter, Phil. Thank you for inviting me to this program. I'm excited. I was happy when she called me and said that her husband is doing something, if I would want to come. I told her, definitely it is Phil. Phil happened to be my coordinator when you went, see you, right? Exactly. Okay. Dr. Iseko, where is he? He's gone. Why did he decide to speak my speech? Okay. I wanted to say hallelujah. So just feel free. Yeah, okay, all right? Okay, praise God. Okay, there we go. Okay, I think number one, I just want to say something to you this morning. And that is, you are not just a number, you are not a statistic. Do you understand what I'm saying? You were created for a purpose. I'm sounding like an inspirational person now, right? But I mean every word of what I'm saying. You are created for a purpose. To what Dr. Iseko has said, because somehow that is what God has also put in my heart to share with you. And all it means is that God is directing a particular message across to you as a person here. You matter to God. That's what I'm saying. Forgive me, I've been talking a lot about God. I believe all of us here believe in God, right? Okay. Something that has been part and parcel of you, it is difficult for anybody to remove it from you. So 1, 2, 3 words I said, I will likely make reference to that. I'll be sharing with you, more or less examples from my experience in starting up the group called YWAP, Youth with a Purpose, okay? It was a group I started about 25 years ago as a young specialist. By then I have finished I'm old though. I have finished my residency training then, and I was planning to japa, I had trained as a facial surgeon, and I was planning to head for Saudi Arabia, go there, make plenty money, because that was the major. It wasn't Canada then. Nobody was talking about Canada. Go to Saudi, go to any of these other places. Go there, make a lot of money. And when I had made enough money, I'm just telling you the plans I had. You may have your own plans now. And after making a lot of money, move over to US, go there, enjoy the money, raise up my family, and then probably when I'm about 70-something years old, I'll come back to Nigeria and die. Somebody will ask, is Nigeria a burial ground? But something happened. And I believe that there comes a time in somebody's life when that thing happens. Yours may be now, it may be sometime in near future. And I realized that there were so many young people around, around where I was living in Kaduna then, and Warimi and Co, who were drug addicts, a lot of drug addicts. A lot of young people that were in cults and all that. And then I started having this idea, this impression, but I would rather say I had God clearly say, do something about it. Dr. Seko talked about you offering services. And you offer the services, at the end of the day, you are given a certificate, all right? For the services that you offered. And that is because you saw that there is a need for those services. As he said, as Naira is jumping up and jumping down, and everybody shouting, there is trouble, there is this, there is that. Some people are making their billions now. Are we hearing me? So the question is that, what is that problem that your heart is pointing to constantly? What is that issue that your heart is always taking you to, that you are bothered about? You pass and it looks as if, but something can be done about this now. You go, you say, but something can be done about this. Let me tell you something. That most likely is the purpose for which God created you. And the money that everybody is running up and down to look for, that might be where that money is lying. By the time you create a solution to a problem, you've added value, you have made impact. And of course, the resultant thing is that you are given that certificate. So quickly, the way I will take it. I have here, I talked about vision. I talked about your mission goals. I talked about, or rather I have here, strategy, your core values, how to achieve this. Because this is very, very important, no matter what you are called to do, whether you're an entrepreneur, or you're running your own business, or you're even a church pastor, these are very, very key things. What are you seeing? When you sit down and look at the next 20 years, where do you expect yourself to be? This is very, very happened to a man. It's a man with his eyes open, but without a vision. Do you understand that? That you have your eyes, and then yet you are not seeing. Vision is very important, very key, because vision gives you direction. Vision gives you focus. Vision kind of gives you the global view of where you want to be. And if you can't see that, you are not likely going to make the move that are necessary. Do we agree? So for us in YWAP then, when it was impressed in my heart to start the group, I saw it that my plans to japa literally had been truncated. I didn't say immediately I heard it from God. I said, dear Lord, here is your servant, send me. Nala, it was a struggle. So most often, you find out that the thing that God wants you to do, there might be a struggle. Flesh will say, no, you cannot do it. And that's where you now have to wrestle, just like Dr. Iseko said. You have to go to your altar and settle it in that place. And for me, that was what I did. I said, because at first I said, God, it's my senior brother that has been doing this youth thing. Send him. Honestly. I said, send him. Why are you sending me? Right now, I want to go and make money. Send my senior brother. He's used to it. For instance, some of the people my senior brother raised up, somebody like Fela Durotoye, my senior brother actually led him to Christ. And he's still doing the same thing up to today in America. I said, God, please send him. Let him do it. Leave me alone. I want to go make good money. You understand? But he said that was what he wanted me to do. When I prayed and prayed through, I said, okay, Lord, let's make a deal. I'm going to talk to a few young people. Depending on what they say, If they said, okay, they're interested in this, then we roll. But if they're not interested, count me out. You know. I'm saying this because God is likely putting some things in the hearts of somebody here today. And for me, even if it's just for the sake of one person, I'm saying what I'm saying, even if it's for the sake of one person, I've come here to encourage, I'll be fulfilled. And I said, okay, Lord, let's make a deal. And we made a deal. I didn't know I set myself up. And I talked to the first young chap, and he said, whoa, this is what I've been looking forward to. Talk to the second person. He said, this is beautiful. This is what I wanted. I said, what is this now? I thought they would have told me. Anyway, by the time I have talked to about 4 of them, and I didn't have a negative feedback. I said, okay, Lord, I'm in for it. And by the time I took that decision, I knew it's going to cost me a lot. Because your vision will cost you. Your purpose will cost you. It's not, okay, this is this, so you walk in it and everybody starts, hailing you. And then all of a sudden, you have blown. All of a sudden, you become a celebrity in a lie. If you must do it God's way, it will cost you. There is a price to pay. And for me then, the price to pay is the money I was going to make in Saudi. I had already set the process on. I have contacted my professor and all that. Was ready to roll. I knew it was going to cost me that. But I also knew that I was passionate about young people. I loved young people. Okay? If you ask me what I had in my hands, what I knew I possessed, I loved young people, and I love them till today. And there are people that I can relate with, the youngest of them. And you think we are age mates. Okay? So again, what I'm trying to say here is that God has also put something in you that you may look at. He says, is it not this rod? What's in this rod? And God said, Moses, stop disturbing me. Go, stretch that rod over that river, over that sea, and they parted the sea. My question is, what is that rod that God has put in your hands? And so that was how we started. Of course, we had the vision, and it was to affect our generation for Christ. That was the global thing. And I remember the Lord spoke to me. He said, see, I'm sending you to those who have been rejected by the world and also rejected by the church. That means I'm sending you to the worst of the baddest of the bad. I said, okay, let them come. All I knew how to do is just to love them. That was just it. Now, when you have a vision, okay, what's your strategy? You know that you are going from point A to point X. What is it that will take you from point A to point X? Strategy. Very, very key. And for us in YWAP, the strategy was to use unorthodox means to reach to the young people. That was when we started dancing. Then, now, today, dancing in church is no longer unorthodox. It has become orthodox. And 20-something years ago, I used to tell them, a day is coming when dancing in church will become orthodox. Then it's for us now to rejig ourselves, turn around, and think about what next is unorthodox that will get the attention of the young people. Like I was telling Pastor Shola, I said, what is burning in my heart now is that what can we do to get the attention of the Gen Z? You go now, you said you are dancing. Okay, they will enjoy your dance, but you're not doing any new thing. They will dance past you. But because of dancing, I was almost sent out of church. Yes. Those are the prices you pay. My church, they said, we must stop him. We must stop him. He's teaching our children how to dance. Of course, these were some of the challenges that I faced. And of course, your altar must always be hot. You must always be there to pray. And of course, God raised up quite a number of people that spoke on our behalf. Your core values, very, very key. Startup, you're an entrepreneur and all that. What are your core values? For us, our core values, again, just as Dr. Seko said, faith. For us in YWAP, faith was our core value. We had about four, 5 F's. Faith, friendship, fellowship, family. And somehow, these were things that we held there. These were pillars. You must have pillars that hold your vision. You must. Because without this, when the storms will come, it's not a matter of will they come or will they, it's when they come. Will you be able to drive through? And again, as Dr. Isako said, okay, on which side are you putting your sail? Because the storms will come. What are your core values? What are your core values? The project I'm doing today, somebody came and said, this project is a big project. Why don't you put 250 million on it and let the contractor bring 250 million so that we'll share? If you are faced with such, what will you do? And probably you go back home, school fees is facing you. And I said, it will be done in such a way that nobody will know. Nobody will know. And you get your 250 million cool, quietly wipe them out. They came to me and asked me, what is your interest in this so that we build it into this project? But because I have a major core value, personal core value, which is integrity. What I told them, I said, see, my interest is good job. If you don't do good job, we will fight. So for you as a man to be able to weather through the changes that will come, because the changes are, as I've said, it's not whether they will come or not, but it's a matter of time. They must come. You must have your core values and hold them there. Hold them there. So that when this come, when the storms come, you will be able to stand. Integrity for me, I'm ready to do it and do it without going home with any cover. Yeah? But let it speak for itself. Of course, they saw me as a fool, but I'm not. God pays my bills. In Nigeria, there are so many opportunities that are there because there are many problems. Wherever there are problems, don't see them as problems, see them as opportunities. And if you don't have the right core values, when the changes come, you will not be able to have the strength or the momentum or the force to drive through the challenges. Again, moving you from point A to point X, as we said earlier on, what do you need? You need resources. And some of these resources, who are the people? Human resources, very, very key. You need men to work with. You need men to work with. And as I said also earlier on, your altar must be hot so that you'll be able to choose the right men. If you have one wrong person, he can mess things up. When I started YWAP, you know, I was so excited because the thing was now, it was like fire in my bones. And I wanted to just go and talk to my friends. Okay, come, can we start this? This is what I'm thinking about so that we... But when I went to pray, the Lord says, shh, don't tell any of them. He said, from amongst them, I will raise up leaders. And that was exactly what happened. So my leaders, how old were they? 13, 14 is head of technical, 15 is head of admin, and all that. That was how we started. And it started growing. The rest is history. They're all over the world. Literally all over the world. Okay? All over the world. But one thing, please, I'm emphasizing on this. You must hear from God. Okay? It's an economic summit. This is key. If you don't hear from him, guy, you find it rough, honestly. Because later on in the ministry, I realized my closest friend I wanted to pick to join me in this was the one that was engineering my problem in the church. When they wanted to ban me from church. Yeah. They say in our church, women don't wear trousers. Yeah. You're allowing them to wear trousers? How can they be praying and they're not covering their head? These are doctrinal issues. I told them God didn't call me to do another church. Instead, what he told me, he said, break down the walls. Break down the walls. So, I'm not building another branch of your church. Okay? And I thank God I did that. So, the people you go with, very, very key. You must select your men. And you must prayerfully select them. You must prayerfully select them. And then you should be able to plan. And in your planning, you do what you call situational or organizational analysis. You do that, you need to know what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are your threats, what are your opportunities. We may think that these things are all academic things, but they have their places. They said a man who has failed to plan has unintentionally planned to fail. So we must plan. And these are the things that will help us make our planning. And by the time you situate them properly, and then you look at the skills. If you don't have the skills that will help you get to the next level, because it got to a point, I realized I was just a doctor, I was just a surgeon. I didn't have any managerial skills. Yeah? And that was when I made up my mind. I decided to go and do an MBA. It cost me a lot of money, millions. I remember in the class, they asked me, you're a doctor, what are you doing here? Most of the people that were there were people that were working in the banks and all that. I said, don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Okay? I did the MBA for 2 years, 2 solid years, And I was able to get the skills. And the organization I'm running today in Abuja is also a charity organization, coincidentally. Okay? And so, you must always improve yourself. You must be on top of your game. If you need to go for seminars, attend seminars. If you need to go for a refresher course, go for a refresher course. And that is why this summit is very, very good. It's empowering people. Okay? So equip yourself. And when you have equipped yourself, do not forget that time comes when you have to review. You will have to review. Sit down. You've made your plans. You've made your goals. You've set your timelines. And you have implemented. It gets to a point. You don't just keep on working. That's in coming back and resting. Then you review what you have done. Okay? Where have I made mistakes? You don't need to repeat those mistakes again. Is it that I didn't put the right person in the right place? Or is it that I didn't take the right steps in the right direction? And in technical terms, they call it monitoring and evaluations. You must monitor whatever project you are doing, you are carrying. You must evaluate that project. Don't say whether they like it or not, I've done it. No. You must evaluate it. And the reason for you to monitor and evaluate is to see where you can cut down on costs. It's also to see where you can make improvements. And also see where you can document for those who are coming behind you to be able to, read, understand, and not make the same mistakes. How many minutes do I have? Yeah. Okay. I really wish I have long time to talk about YWAP, but it's something that I cannot finish. But I'm praying that I've said few things, just very few things that can help you. But one thing you should have in mind, again, I said Dr. Seko talked my talk. One thing you must have at the back of your mind is impact. What impact am I creating? What impact am I making? Not necessarily, okay, I want to hammer, I want to blow, and make plenty money. And as he said, if you are given ₦1 billion today, and you've not gone through the process, if you lose that ₦1 billion, you will not be able to make another one. Okay? It's like for me, if you fold up YWAP and said it has closed completely, I can start from beginning and run it again. And this is something that you must have at the back of your mind on whatever you are doing. Okay? Very, very important. Yeah, are you a startup? Are you running a business? You have gone through the process. Okay? You've gone through the process. You have had your challenges. You have overcome the challenges. If by any chance, probably because of political changes and all that, economic downturn, and things go the wrong way, will you be able to start again and do it? I was telling Pastor Shola, I said, challenges, for me, what challenges did to me is that challenges helped me build capacity. Okay? Because challenges can either kill the vision, kill everything you are thinking of, or you stand up and said, challenges is part of it. It's part of it. It's part of it. And then you rise up. You rise up and build. So in concluding, let me just say, so that I don't take much of our time, what gives me greatest joy is impact. When I see that I have interacted with young people, and I'm living and they are happy. It's not that I just go, okay, I want them to feel good. No. I have impacted their lives. I was in Jos some few weeks ago, and a young man came and met me in Jos. It was one of the young men that I knew them many years ago. And he came to my hotel room. He said, Uncle C, I'm glad I've seen you again. This is over 10 years we have seen. And he went on and started talking. He said, if I had not come in contact with YWAP, I probably would have been dead today. I looked at him and I said, well, why? How? You were a cool guy and all that. His uncle C, I was a heavy cultist. I was on drugs until I came in contact with YWAP. And I was just looking at him. And God used YWAP, positive peer pressure, to rescue him from the negative influences he already had. That is what gives me joy. And today, he's living a useful and fruitful life for himself and for his family and for the society. I was in the hospital. One of our chaps called me. He said, Uncle C, I want to pay you a visit with my boss. He works with an international NGO. And his boss came, and a foreigner, and he brought him to my office. And this boy started talking. He was another cool, quiet guy. I said, Uncle C, he started talking to his boss. He said, if not for this man, I wouldn't have been the good, staff that you value so much. I said, okay, where is this leading to? And he told me, so Uncle C, I was a cultist in Benue until I came in contact with YWAP. This was in secondary school. I gained admission, and my father said, when I told my father I gained admission, he said it's not true, because his father knew him. He was asking for money to register. He said his father said he's not giving him money because it's not true that he gained admission. And he said he put a call to me. I said, okay, send the account number. I can't remember ever doing that. Well, there are many, And sent the money to him, and he registered, did his matriculation. I think it was in 200-300 level that his father realized that he was saying the truth. He was in school. So what I'm saying in essence is this. Life is all about impact. And God has given you something. God has put something in your hand you can use to turn around the life of the next person. So please, use it. Put it back in the hands of God, and you see what God will do with it. Thank you very much.